Wait. This is maybe the most pathetic tiny all the world has ever known. But I actually thought that I could do this because there are 2 out of 3 of the items here that I can focus on a bit more. The one that I cannot really focus on is this Justice League issue. This is issue 41, and this is the other half of the cover that should have been a wraparound. If you go back and watch the video where I got the other half, I said I would never get this because it is stupid how they so especially failed with having 2 covers for the same issue that combined together, forcing freaks like me to buy 2 copies. But my completionist nature overrules anything I might say. Up second, we have an issue of Excellent Force that I just never had. This is issue 63, and I don't know why. This was like just an issue that I didn't have. I think this one looks like it might even tie in or acknowledge this subplot that is probably most famous for being ignored and undone without reference by Tom Brevoort. When Mr. Doom died fighting Onslaught Man, and he was transported to Counter-Earth with the other heroes, his country was left without its ruler. And what happened in a Cable story by Joe Kelly and Josie Landiron was that Cable's clone and his enemy Strafe, he took over and assumed leadership of Doom's country. Really potentially an interesting story beat and change to the status quo or status quo. But then when the heroes returned to the Marvel Universe under Tom Brevoort, Mr. Doom was just back in control of his country, and there was no mention to Strafe or what happened to him, and nothing was done with his time ruling the country. It was acknowledged in one issue of Fabio Niciez's Ed Gambit series, and potentially this issue of Excellent Force, and never again. Not even a throwaway line of dialogue where Mr. Doom says that he took his land back. And like with a lot of plot lines or characters that were quickly erased by Tom Brevoort, it doesn't take a genius to say that there is an obvious story to tell with Mr. Doom ganning up against Strafe. Well, here's the thing. Strafe is from the 90s and he was created by Robert Liefeld, and Tom Brevoort and Kurt Busiek and Martin Quaid, they all hate the 90s and think that they are the worst thing ever. And even though that story with Strafe seizing Doom's castle and country was only a few months before Tom Brevoort took over editing The Avengers and Fantastic Force, a whole corner of the Marvel Universe, well, it still counts as part of the 90s that was shit. Because the truth is, it's not about a decade or quality. It's shit because these cockheads were not involved with it, and that's why they hate it. Finally, we have a Marvel Legends figure. This is Legend from the Excellent Men, Dan Stevens with his awful hair. This being a figure is as mental as this character is. We have some stuff on the back. This was an Age of Armageddon wave. The second wave based on that story. Pretty good wave, and you can build a steel man. Sadly, the cyclist looks like Kurtwood Smith. Some nice original art of Dan Stevens there. And if you want some nice art with this character, just wait until tomorrow's video. And the little bios they have on the back of these figures are always pretty bad. Let's see what this one is. Marvel's Legend. The son of Dr. X, Legend gets his incredible mind from his legendary father. That might be a pun if the person who wrote that up is a subscriber to this channel. But must balance unimaginable muty powers with his mental illness. All in all, that wasn't the worst write-up of a character on the back of one of these figures. Now, let's get it out of the box. Getting these open without damaging the box is really hard. Got a little bit of tape left there, gotta get that off. Some people might find this soothing. Fuck it, that's taking too long. There's a totally demolished box. This is the figure in its tray. There's Armageddon's face. He doesn't look happy, does he? And then sometimes getting them out of these is pretty finicky too. Wasn't bad at all. This is the figure here, and I am not a toy reviewer. I won't talk about the articulation. It's pretty samey across the line. This toy comes with a set of fisted hands, as well as one of Steelman's legs. I always get the legs, didn't I? Whenever I get a figure, I get one of the legs. This is a pretty good figure. The hair is well done. And there is some nice shading on the body, but none on his back. This is based on his original design, the one that he is sporting in the 1985 Andy books. He's actually the only figure in this wave that isn't the Age of Armageddon version. He is in this wave because he created Age of Armageddon. And I bring this up because he didn't wear this outfit when he did so. He is wearing this in the Extra Factors issues, but in the main Legend Quest story, it was all white, I believe. It doesn't really matter, just a little thing I wanted to note. The face sculpt leaves a bit to be desired, or the figure should have had an alternate head. This is the character's face to fit in with the style of all the other Marvel Legends faces. But this character, he always had a very stylized face, and this one doesn't look crazy enough. There should have been an alternate head with him with his massive eyebrows sculpted on, and like one eye bigger than the other or something. But getting this guy in figure form is pretty impressive. I'm happy that he has a generic face like this, because I have always noted I prefer the character as just being one of the excellent men who isn't a mentally insane bad guy. And now I can recreate my favourite scene with this guy, when he fought Nimrod in Coming Second. I am going to fucking disintegrate you, Dan Stevens. No chance, you blonde bastard from the future. So that is my comic haul, which was 2 comics and a toy. Bag 'em away, toys. Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons. I rate this 7 thumbs up. Wow! That was Wiggum as well, not Penguin from Batman.